this is our process of how we make fresh blueberry wine. These blueberries have been picked, frozen, and now we're pouring them into some nylon bags. That'll let the juice run out of them. We put about 40 pounds to a bag. So these are still frozen. And in about 3 days, all the juice will be running out of them. And at that point, we will balance the acids, measure the pH, add sugar to get it to the alcohol content we want, and then start fermenting. So that concludes today's video. Okay, it's been 3 days since we've had the blueberries out, thawing out. They're about room temperature now, so I've got them all piled up. Juice is just running out, so I need to know how much juices these berries are gonna make. So I just simply sanitize everything, buckets, everything's been sanitized, and I'll drain the juice off these berries into a vessel by itself. This takes a pretty good while to do it. You have to really take your time. We put a little blocker into the back of the tub so all the juice will run forward. So it makes it easy to transfer from here to here. That's good. Okay, so now we want to know how much potential alcohol or how much sugar's in this juice. So I'm going to fill this test tube up with our blueberry juice, which we've extracted. Give me a little bit of space in there. This is a hydrometer. This is going to measure, it's based off specific gravity. If this was in water, it would float at 1.0, which would have 0 potential alcohol. But this is going to measure sugar content. It's kind of hard to read, but right now this would make a potential alcohol of about 4% alcohol. That's nowhere near enough. We want at least, I'll make most of our wines 12%, but it needs to be a minimum of 10. So we're going to shoot for 12, so that means we're going to have to add a lot of sugar to it. We also want to know what the pH is. So this meter here will measure the pH and total acidity. Of course, calibration is very important. So just a few minutes ago, we did calibrate it with these buffer calibration solutions and verified that the meter is accurate. I'm just going to take a little sample here. Everything's been sanitized. pH meter has to stay in a certain solution to make sure it reads good, and then we always rinse it off with some distilled water before we use it and after we use it. Okay, and we're just going to insert this part of the meter into your wine. It's best to stir it around just a little bit. Just keep a little stirration going, and this meter is reading the pH. So our blueberry wine has a pH of like 3.09 at the starting point. So we'll have to make some adjustments on that because we need for it to be like 3.3, 3.5 is really optimum. So that's what we'll shoot for, but that's to come later. That's good. Checked our specific gravity earlier. The natural sugar in these blueberries would only make maybe 4% alcohol, so we need to add a lot of sugar. So we've just boiled water, melted sugar. I'm going to pour this hot melted sugar over these blueberries. This will help break them down. It's going to shock them. It's going to release more antioxidants and enzymes into my wines. So in a few minutes I'll move these bags around again, squish them a little bit, dip all the juice out, put back in this container until I've got enough sugar to make 12% alcohol. Got all the juice separated from the berries. We had enough blueberries to make like 200 gallons of wine. So we have all the pulp in here, which I'm going to use a little bit later on, but we just needed to separate all the juice from the pulp. And it had a potential alcohol of 4% when we started. So yesterday we melted a lot of sugar, poured over the fruits, and I should have enough sugar in here now to make a potential of 12% alcohol. So this hydrometer, like I showed you the other day, floats at 1.0 in water. This is floating. It's kind of hard to read with the little bubbles, but this will make the potential of 12% alcohol. And also, as we measured the other day, the pH, the starting pH was 3.13. We want a target of 3.5. So I have some sodium bicarbonate here, which I'm going to put in here. This is our 30th batch of blueberry wine, so we keep a record of everything. Normally the pH on blueberries is low, they're pretty acidic, so I just look at our past batch and I have a pretty good idea where to start. But we always start low. So I'm just going to add this to it and start taking some acid out. This won't be just a one-time thing. This will be kind of gradual, because I'm really not sure how long it takes this sodium bicarbonate to take all the acids out. So once I get all the acid out, we will start fermentation probably in a couple days, but there will be like 2 more small steps we'll do before we get there. But for today, this is all we can do. Okay, it's time to put the yeast in. So I use a Lavalin branded yeast. I just sprinkle it over like wood seasoning kind of. Cover the tops of all these bags. One of these bags will do 6 gallons of wine. So I need to put about 15 bags in this here container, which I have 3 little groups of 5. I have a trash can there, I'm just throwing it on the floor. Okay. Okay, so I put yeast in these other 2 tanks about 15 minutes ago. You can see how it's starting to absorb a little bit of the wine. A lot of people put the yeast in and they want to stir it. I think it's best to just let it kind of sit. Not shock it, and then after it kind of gets a little moist, I just flip the bags upside down. That yeast should stay together and it'll be stronger, and it's going to start eating sugar and digesting alcohol. So I'll leave that just alone for till tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon it'll be more active, and then we'll start squeezing the berries a little bit again each day. Okay, so I put the yeast in here Friday. Been squeezing the bags a little bit each day. But I did take all the bags out of all the containers and put into one, so that I'm going to show you how that I juice them. People ask how do we juice our berries. But we've been squeezing on them a little bit each day. They're kind of mushy. I just throw them up here on a rack. Spread them out pretty good. That's the reason you don't put too many in a bag. And just kind of press the juice out of them. When you start seeing little red seeds come out, you really don't want seeds down in here, so that's the advantage of having these bags. And just kind of run with that. This looks pretty primitive, I know. But anyway, that's what we do. Then I'll take the pulp will go out, and the juice will go into an airtight container in about 2 more days. Okay, we're getting ready to filter this batch of blueberry, batch 30 that we've been working on. So we're going to pump it out of this tank to a set of 6 micron filters into this empty tank, which has been sanitized. And we're also filling it full of nitrogen. We have nitrogen going in here to displace the air. Your wine shouldn't touch any air, so that's the reason we're doing that. It's really just a kind of simple process. So this is a small pump. Turn it on here. It's going to pull the wine through here. It's going to go through these filters and come out. Okay, here it comes. It's really pretty simple. This will probably take about 2 hours to do this batch, roughly. And then next month we'll filter it with a set of 1 micron filters. Okay, this is concluding our batch of blueberries, now in the bottling process. So Trish is bottling. Falling straight out of the tank. The tank's been filtered. This is a 1-person operation. Finished product. Keeps her busy.